We're now with the Human Relations Commission, and Councilman Stein's with us. Tom, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the few people who don't know you and introduce your colleagues, and then make whatever budget presentation you'd like to make.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here, Mayor Dean and all. I want to say that I'm enjoying this opportunity, having been in government now for almost 8 months. It's been pretty exciting, so I appreciate the opportunity. I'd like to introduce our chairperson, Deb Palmer-George, and our treasurer, Frank True, and Mark, who is our program specialist. I think that's the title. Administrator. I'm pretty close. I knew I was close. I'm getting used to these government titles.
You'll get it all down.
I really am getting used to these things. But with that said, I didn't know I was going to be here for this budget presentation, which is a nice thing to be here for because it's educational, especially from a governmental perspective. We have drawn up and prepared documentation for a 3% decrease, but feel that would negatively impact the work being currently done. And today would like to request an addition of 2 additional people to get the work that we need to have done here in the city for our community. With that said, if we can turn now to, and I think you all have a copy, and it's this document here. To begin with, I'd like to throw out any preconceptions that you may have about the MHRC. You may think that the Commission is regulation weary, Title VI training, civil rights drumming, finger-wagging group of malcontented activists. Well, some of that might be true, but it's not really the case. There you go. Well, some of that might be true. The fact of the matter is the MHRC is an economic engine in many ways, and we are creating and helping the city move forward. And I think by going through the things that we're about to go through, you'll see that as well. First, through educating Metro departments, Title VI is resolving discrimination complaints. The MHRC saves Metro from costly lawsuits, bad publicity. Perhaps that never would happen, jeopardizing federal funding. Secondly, more people in the city includes in this economy a stronger economic growth for the future. Through such efforts, the ESL map, have you read about the ESL map? ESL map, there was an article in the Tennessean today, rather 2 days ago, and it's included in your package. I've already received calls from as far away as other countries, Australia, New York City, St. Louis, who are interested in how that's working for us. And it is a program that was developed in our office by Mark and the team that has not cost us anything, but does have to be administrated. That map provides those in need of ESL classes a one-stop shop, and they're able to figure out where they should go. That had been done by word of mouth previously. Compassionate Nashville. I'm sure you've heard about Compassionate Nashville. And at the beginning, even when I started, I went, Compassionate Nashville. What is that? Of course we're compassionate. I think I'm pretty compassionate. I'm sure you guys are all compassionate. But Forbes magazine has named us the #2 most compassionate city in the country. And I believe that to be true. And I believe we can be #1. It drives industry, business, because when, as you all know, when corporations move to certain communities, they want to know they're moving to the right community, and that is a great designation for us to have. Celebrate Nashville. Celebrate Nashville drew nearly 70,000 people. I think the figure is 67,000 this year, which is up, I believe, from 46 or 47,000 in previous years. And we believe that that'll continue to grow. Besides, this time around, most Metro departments were there. As a matter of fact, I think the fire department gave out 2,300 plastic fire hats. And for those new arrival communities that go to this Celebrate Nashville, it is a way, and perhaps their only way all year, to really interact with government in a manner which they feel comfortable. And I think that's an amazing thing for our city to be doing, and we need to continue doing that. The Babble Line, I love that, Babble Line, will provide a way for parents to better understand what their students are doing at school. This is a new initiative taken in partnership with Metropolitan Public Schools. And what it is basically is the parents will be given a number if their first language isn't English. So when the paper is brought home, they'll be able to dial in that number for the specific piece of paper, and it'll be translated for them. We believe that once it is launched at Metropolitan Public Schools, we could use it in other departments throughout the city, again, in an effort to better communicate with what we know is going to be a changing Nashville demographic in what we see in Nashville next. Boy, I've been talking a lot. Any questions?
Just go right ahead and finish up.
Thank you so much. So with that, we are expecting or asking, not expecting, because we're certainly not expecting, but we are asking for an additional 2 staff members. And as you'll see, because this is a wonderful sheet of paper here, which I believe was done by the mayor's office, the accomplishments have really been incredible from a staff that has been in this office for less than a year. We have 4 staff members, including me, and I've been there for almost 8 months. Our longest staff member, Mark, has been there for 13 months. And I got to tell you, with that turnover, and you can imagine through this list of accomplishments what we can accomplish next year.
Okay, great. All right, could you, you touched on this, but I'd like to get more details on. In accomplishments, you have directly resolved formal and informal complaints that could negatively affect various Metro departments. How many and how are they resolved, and do you have any statistical information you can supply us on that?
We do, and for example, we're getting many more complaints than we have in the past, and that's a good thing because they know where to go. And most of these complaints we're able to handle within 12 to 24 hours in a very nice way. So how many is many more complaints? I think before I got there, I think we had 2 or 3 in 7 months. It's not surprising if we get 2 or 3 a week.
I guess what would be helpful for me would be, because I'm a little bit familiar with this issue,
Sure.
would be to have a list given to me of, I don't care about the identity of anybody, but just what actions were taken, the amount of time it was to resolve that, and the number of actual complaints and time worked on those complaints during this fiscal year. Because if it's 7 complaints before you got here 8 months ago, that's pretty hard to justify a position for. And if some of them are resolved, immediately, it may be as easy as just referring somebody to the right organization to resolve it. And so I just want to get a handle on what that workload actually is and what is actually accomplished.
Oh, sure. We'd be happy to supply you with that. I think the important thing here is not only the number of complaints, but what those complaints are and how they might be handled by our department. And while I'd be happy to not include names and positions because we have one that we referred to the state already prior to my coming. There's a couple sitting on my desk that we may refer to the state because they have to do with internal affairs of Metropolitan. And they have previously been referred. So in that regard, give me as much
information as you want to, but what I want to have is the numbers, the time that's involved in it, and the steps taken. And I'm not trying to, I don't want anything that would suggest that I'm not interested in interfering. I just want to know the effectiveness and the efficiency of that function.
Absolutely.
And I really want to understand it.
Good.
And so I need concrete, real information on it.
Sure. And with that said, we know of one case that we've handled, which we'll be happy to show you, that's literally saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money.
That's what I need to see. And then I may have more questions about them, but just get me that.
That'll be forthcoming.
You're asking for 2.5 new full-time employees.
That's correct. Actually, 2. We've taken a part-time position and made it full-time in our current budget.
Right.
So we're taking monies from other areas so in this budget, we would ask for 2.5. That's exactly correct.
Right. And what would those positions do?
One would be a specialist in regards to handling what we're doing with our programs, so a program manager. The other would be a PR representative, a public relations, get out there. What we do in our department, or what we have been doing in the last 8 months in our department, is not telling people what they're doing wrong, is attempting to tell people what they're doing right and to continue doing that. All right. So of the 3 people in the office, including myself, of the 4 people, including myself, only one deals, and others get involved, deal with that complaint end. The other end of this is doing what we do in attempting to tell people what civil rights and Title VI is about, and having a preventative measure so we don't get to the point of a complaint. And I think that's been working rather well in that we're able to resolve things before they get to an official complaint level. So while I'll give you those official complaints, there are many other scenarios where we're not getting to an official complaint level, where we're able to resolve it through a telephone call. And I'd be happy to discuss them with you as well.
So you get one person to do program coordination, one person to essentially do PR.
Well, PR is not
my word.
It is my word, and probably a poor community relations, perhaps, and that is because we need to get the word out there as to what the Human Relations Commission is, what good work they're doing, what they need to do in the future as our community changes. You know, as we all know, by 2035, 40% of Nashville will be Latino. Between 2040 and 2035, we know all of that. And wouldn't that be one of the key functions of the director? I mean, you're great at that. I mean, you're one of the most visually present people I know. And so isn't that really in terms of championing the cause and talking about the important work of the commission and being the public face of the commission and relaying the message, I think is vitally important. I mean, I agree with everything you're doing. But I would think that would be the position of the director of the organization to do that. Well, it absolutely is. Other than the fact that I can't be where we should be all the time. I'll give you a perfect example. I think we visited 27 different congregations over the past 5 months, explaining to those congregations on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I've been at least 3 of them, exactly what we do. All right. We can't get out to the hundreds of areas that we need to be at. Another example is by Metro regulation. I believe that we're supposed to visit every department twice a year, and we can't do that with 52 or 53 departments with the 4 staff members that we have. So in order to do our work correctly, which is what we're attempting to do, and I think we're doing a really good job at it, I think that's why we needed, yes, the executive director, whoever he or she may be, needs to be intimately involved in the day-to-day operations and getting out there and telling everybody what we should be doing, and not telling them, again, what they're doing wrong, what we're doing right, and how we get from point A to point B.
And then the other positions that are in the office currently, you have a compliance individual, program management, yourself, and then what's the other position?
She's administrative and handles our Compassionate Nashville program. She was the person that position, I hate to identify people as he or she, but that position not only got us involved in Compassionate Nashville, but is dealing with it on a daily basis. But more importantly, we need to get out there in social media, and we need to be out front on many of the issues that come up on a daily basis within our city, because many people don't realize that these issues are not only could be a Title VI issue, but are civil rights related, and the civil rights is, as I'm speaking to the choir here, never mind.
Greg? Rich?
Good. Thank you.
Well, first, a lot of admiration for the work that's being done, and you guys play a key role in Nashville, and it's important. We've talked about this morning with the Planning Commission. Nashville is changing, and it's real important that as we change and become more diverse, that we are a city that celebrates that diversity, that we're welcoming, and that we go about that very intentionally, which is, I think, what your role is, in my mind, is to keep Nashville a compassionate, friendly city that embraces everybody. So I applaud the great work you're doing. All the members of the board, Deb, thank you for stepping up as you've done this year. And Tom, thank you for answering the call. I know you maybe had other things in mind for your retirement, but I'm very appreciative and personally thankful for your generosity. And Frank, thank you for all you do. But great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you.